Hi, my name is Jisoo and I'm reading Master Dōgen Shōbōgenzō, and we have reached chapter 60, Juppo, the 10 directions. Ju means 10 and Ho means direction, so Juppo means the 10 directions. The 10 directions are east, west, south, north, northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest, and upward and downward. These represent all directions, the whole of space or the whole world. In Buddhist philosophy, the meaning of space is frequently discussed. In these discussions, the word Juppo, the 10 directions, is often used as a concrete expression of space. In this chapter, Master Dōgen picks up on the word Juppo and uses it to discuss real space. A fist is just the concrete 10 directions. Just a footnote, the word means not only a direction but also a quarter, region or district. A moment of sincerity is the brilliant 10 directions. With these words, the marrow has been struck out of the bones. Shakyamuni Buddha tells a great assembly, in the Buddha lands of the 10 directions, there only exists the one vehicle, Dharma. These 10 directions have grasped Buddha lands and made them into the concrete. Thus, unless we bring the Buddha lands here, the 10 directions never exist. Because they are the Buddha lands, we see the Buddha as the ruler. This Saha realm, it seems, is the Buddha land of Shakyamuni. Taking up this Saha world and clearly noting that 8 ounces is half a pound, we should learn in practice that the Buddha lands of the 10 directions are of 7 feet or of 8 feet. These 10 directions fit into a single direction and fit into a single Buddha. And for this reason, they have manifested the 10 directions. Because they are the 10 directions, one direction, this direction, my own direction, and the present direction, they are the direction of the eyes, the direction of a fist, the direction of an outdoor pillar, and the direction of a stone lantern. The Buddhas of the 10 directions in such Buddha lands as of the 10 directions never attain great and small, or pure and impure. For this reason, the Buddhas alone, together with Buddhas of the 10 directions, praise and admire each other. They never see maligning each other and discussing each other's relative merits or likes and dislikes as the turning of the Dharma wheel or as the preaching of Dharma. As Buddhas and as the Buddha's disciples, they promote and salute each other. In receiving the Dharma of the Buddhist patriarchs, we learn under them like this, not criticizing each other as right and wrong, and slandering and shaming each other as if we were non-Buddhists or demons. When we open and peruse the Buddhist sutras that have now been transmitted to China and glimpse the totality of the Buddha's lifetime of teaching, Shakyamuni Buddha never says that Buddhas of other directions are inferior, never says that Buddhas of other directions are superior, and never says that Buddhas of other directions are not Buddhas. In sum, what we can never find in Shakyamuni Buddha's lifelong preaching are words of the Buddha that criticize other Buddhas. Words of Buddhas of other directions that criticize Shakyamuni Buddha, similarly, have never been reported. Thus, Shakyamuni Buddha tells a great assembly, I alone know concrete form, and the Buddhas of the 10 directions are also like that. Remember, the form of I alone know concrete form is the enaction of round form. Master Nagarjuna preaches that his body manifests the roundness of the moon. Here, as in that chapter, round means not only circular but real. Oh, yeah. No, I'm still lost. Oh yes, remember the form of I alone know concrete form is the inaction of round form. Round form is this bamboo being as long as this, and that bamboo being as short as that. The truth of the Buddhas of the 10 directions is the preaching that I alone know concrete form, and Shakyamuni Buddha is also like that. It is I alone experience concrete form, and the Buddhas of this direction are also like that. It is the form of I, that's the capital I letter, the form of knowing, the form of the concrete, the form of all, the form of the 10 directions, the form of the Saha realm, and the form of Shakyamuni Buddha. This principle is the Buddhist sutras. Buddhas and their lands are beyond duality. They are beyond the sentient and beyond the insentient. They are beyond delusion and realization. They are beyond good, bad, and indifferent. They are beyond purity and beyond impurity. They are beyond creation, beyond existence, beyond destruction, and beyond emptiness. They are beyond constancy and beyond non-constancy. They are beyond existence and beyond non-existence. They are beyond self and beyond others. They have left behind the 4 lines and transcended the 100 negations. Oh, what a sentence. Footnote, beyond emptiness, creation, existence, destruction, emptiness allude to the idea that there are 4 kalpas of creation, existence, destruction, emptiness between the establishment of one world and the establishment of the next world. Wow. And the 4 lines alludes to the philosophical system called 4-line discrimination, existence being having, non-existence, absence being without, both existence and non-existence, and neither existence nor non-existence. Something we see in Dōgen a lot. They are nothing other than the 10 directions and nothing other than the Buddha lands. In sum, the 10 directions are just folk who have heads and do not have tails. Zen Master Chosa Kaishin addresses the assembly. The whole universe in the 10 directions is a Shramana's eye. Shramana, somebody who's left home, a diligent practitioner or monk, and his eye, this and the following quotations of Master Chosa's words appear together in Kaitoku Dentu Roku, chapter 10. Okay. What has been described now is one eye of the Shramana Gautama. The eye of the Shramana Gautama is, I possess the right Dharma eye treasury. It belongs to anyone, and at the same time it is the eye of the Shramana Gautama. The whole universe in the 10 directions in its ragged and jagged state is Gautama's eye organ. This whole universe in the 10 directions is one among a Shramana's eyes, and going up beyond this there are limitlessly abundant eyes. I was just going to say, that sounds like canon to me. Kanzeon of Avalokiteshvara. The whole universe in the 10 directions is a Shramana's everyday speech. Everyday means ordinary, or in colloquial Japanese, yonatsune. Footnote for everyday as a noun, everyday life, or the usual state. So the ordinary speech of a Shramana's everyday life is the whole universe in the 10 directions. It is correctness in word and correctness in speech. We should clearly learn in practice the truth that because everyday speech is the whole universe in the 10 directions, the whole universe in the 10 directions is everyday speech. This 10 directions, because it is without limit, is called the whole 10 directions. Footnote, footnote, footnote. To the limit or the whole, the sentence is 10 directions to the limit, the whole of the 10 directions. Ironically, therefore, this sentence says that because the 10 directions are without limit, they are whole. Because they're without limit, they are whole. In everyday life, we use this speech. It is as in the case of seeking a horse, seeking salt, seeking water, and seeking a pot. And so in the case of serving water, serving a pot, serving salt, and serving a horse. The word Saindava, or product of the Indus River Basin, is ambiguous or inclusive, but a wise retainer knows from the real situation whether a king who requests Saindava wants a horse, salt, water, or a pot. Seems quite obscure. Does anyone know that a great person who is free of thought transforms the body and transforms the brain within the stream of this speech, and transforms even speech in mid-speech? The correctness in word and straightness in speech of the ocean's mouth and the mountain's tongues is every day. Thus, even if we cover our mouth and cover our ears, the 10 directions are this real existence. The whole universe in the 10 directions is a Shramana's whole body. With one hand indicating the heavens as the heavens, and with the other hand indicating the earth as the earth, the Buddha says that, although they are real as they are in the heavens and under the heavens, I alone am the honoured one. This state is the whole universe in the 10 directions as the Shramana's whole body. Brain, eyes and nostrils, skin, flesh, bones and marrow. Each is totally the Shramana's body as clarification and liberation of the whole 10 directions. Without our moving the whole 10 directions, it exists like this, not depending upon intellectual thinking, but by mustering the Shramana's body, which is the whole universe in the 10 directions, we realize the Shramana's body, which is the whole universe in the 10 directions. The whole universe in the 10 directions is the brightness of the self. The self means the nostrils that are prior to the birth of one's parents, and the condition in which the nostrils happen to be present in the hands of the self is called the whole universe in the 10 directions. In that condition, the self is realized, and it realizes reality. It opens the hall and meets the Buddha. At the same time, it is someone having replaced the eyes with black beads. But there again, when the face has split, we may be able to meet with great masters. It's obscure. The face having split, meeting with great masters, suggests the appearance of a new face, habitual imbalances having been transcended, and concrete entry into the real world of Buddhas, which is not necessarily dependent on the opening of a Buddha hall. The expression is in the style of a sentence written in Chinese and therefore has been italicized, but a Chinese source has not been traced. The same applies to the expressions italicized in the remainder of the paragraph. Right, someone having replaced the eyes with black beads, the face has split, we may be able to meet with great masters. Moving on further, and this is all in italics till the end of the paragraph. To call someone to us is easy, but to send them away is difficult. Conversely, when we get called, we turn the head. What is the use of turning the head by oneself? In fact, I turn my head adhering to this concrete person, and while a meal is waiting for someone to eat it and a robe is waiting for someone to wear it, even if you seem to be groping in vain, I am afraid that I am already going to give you 30 strokes. The whole universe in the 10 directions exists inside the brightness of the self. An eyelid is called the brightness of the self, and its sudden opening is called existence inside. That which exists in eyes as a result of looking is called the whole universe in the 10 directions. And though it is like this, when we sleep on the same floor, we know the holes in each other's covers. That's a great expression. The 4 sentences of the paragraph exemplify the progress of Master Dōgen's thoughts through the 4 philosophies of subject, object, synthesis in action, and ordinary reality. Perfect. In the whole universe, in the 10 directions, there is no one who is not himself. So among individual excellent instructors and individual concrete fists, there is no instance of a 10 directions who is not him or herself. Because of being itself, each individual self is totally the 10 directions. The 10 directions of each individual self directly restrict the 10 directions. Because the lifeblood of each individual self is present in the hands of each individual, each returns to others the original cost of straw sandals. To repay the cost of one's straw sandals means to have earned one's keep, to be worth one's salt. Great. How can it be that Bodhidharma's eyes and Gautama's nostrils are now newly conceived in the wombs of outdoor pillars? Because getting out and getting in are left utterly to the 10 directions and 10 aspects. Great Master Shuitsu of Gensai-in Temple says, the whole universe in the 10 directions is one bright pearl. We've read one bright pearl, haven't we? Clearly, the one bright pearl is the whole universe in the 10 directions. Those with heads of gods or faces of demons have seen it as their cave. Descendants of the Buddhist patriarchs have seen it as the eye. Men and women of human families have seen it as brains and fists, and beginners and late learners have seen it as wearing robes and eating meals. My late master made it into a mud ball with which to strike brothers senior and junior. Furthermore, although this was plain and simple placement of a piece, it had scooped out the eyes of the ancestors. One stone placed on a go board. Oh, a piece is one stone placed on a go board. Great. During the scooping, ancestors each lent a hand, and the insides of their eyes radiated light. Master Kenpo, the story goes, is asked by a monk, the Bhagavats of the 10 directions are on one road to Nirvana's gate. I wonder where they are on the street. Kenpo draws a circle with his staff and says, they are right here. Being right here is the 10 directions. The Bhagavats are a staff. A staff is being right here. One road is the 10 directions. But do not let a staff get lost inside Gautama's nostrils, and do not let a staff get lost in the nostrils of a staff. Do not batter a staff into the nostrils of a staff. And at the same time, do not recognize that old man Kenpo has meditated on the Bhagavats of the 10 directions being on one road to Nirvana's gate. He only speaks of being right here. Being right here is not to be denied. And if old man Kenpo is, from the outset, not deluded by his staff, that is good. In sum, we just learn in practice as the 10 directions, nostrils that are alive. Shōbōgenzō Juppo, preached to the assembly at Juppo Temple in Eshu, Japan, on the 13th day on the 11th lunar month in the first year of Kangen 1243. Thanks for listening. Take care.